I was 6 years old. I saw Nazo, the neighbor girl of my same age, had bought some candies and she was going home. The 15 years old bully of our neighborhood snatched her candies. Upon seeing this, I rushed towards them, snatched the candies from the bully's hand, grabbed Nazo's hand and told her to run. We ran, reached her home, closed the door. She was very happy about that. We laughed about that incident for a while, and she also offered me some of her candies. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the last time I saw Nazo laughing. The next day, I, along with my family, shifted to Peshawar. But now and then I would learn about Nazo. She was a very bright student. She would come first in her class, and she wanted to become a doctor. And no doubt she would have become a doctor, but her father underwent some financial crisis. And in order to save money for the education of her brothers, her education was discontinued. And she had no any other way but to accept her fate. After many years, I again come to know about her that she and one of our other friends or other neighbor, Arshad, liked each other and wanted to marry each other. And Arshad sent a proposal to her home. But meanwhile, her brother, in an unfortunate moment, inadvertently killed another person. And to settle the dispute, a jarga rolled that she, then 18 years old, be married to the 65 years old father of the killed person. And she was wedded to her and not to the love of her life, Arshad. In her husband's home, she would be humiliated and abused every day. She would be called the sister of a murderer, and a lot of other names would be called to her. And she would be beaten every day without any reason or rhyme. She gave birth to a boy and a girl, and when she was only 26 years old, her husband died. And the family of her husband confiscated the children and forced her to leave the house. By that time, her father and mother both had died, so she had no any other way but to go and live with her brothers. But there, every day, her sister-in-laws would tell her, again abused her, humiliate her, and would tell her that go and leave our home. So she had to endure that pain along with the pain of being dispossessed from her children. So one day I was with my brother, who is a doctor in his hospital, and he suddenly got a call. After listening to the call, he rushed towards the emergency, and I got after him. Upon reaching there, I saw Nazo breathing her last. She had become very weak. Her white glowing face had turned dark. She had just become a skeleton of bones, silent, still, lying on that bench, barely able to blink her eyes. For a moment, she looked into my eyes as if she's telling me, as if she's telling me about the hardships and sufferings of all those years. And those blinking eyes stopped and she left for the heavenly abode. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the story of one Nazo. But there are hundreds of thousands of Nazos out there. Every day, they are deprived from their education, not allowed to marry the love of their life, and forced to marry men who are several times their age. In households, they are humiliated, abused, beaten, and when circumstances force them to step out of the home to earn for their families, they are objectified and sexually harassed. And when they refuse to accept unwanted advances from somebody, acid is thrown on their faces. In our society, women are subjected to systemic, societal, cultural, and many other forms of violences and oppressions. And when somebody wants to talk about their rights, some say that Islam has given them all the rights. What are you talking about? That's true. Islam has given them all the rights. But we, the men, the state, the society, and the culture are not giving them their rights. I'm also not saying that go and become those radical feminists bent upon, destroying the cultural norms, your values, all the institutions. What I'm saying is that Nazos in our societies face real oppression, real suppression, real violence. And we need to understand them and we need to uphold their rights. I thank you all very much.
This is something I really loved about Toastmaster Alam Zeb. Not because he praised me, but because of this smile. He started his speech with a smile, beautiful smile. I really liked it. And the confidence he possesses and the energy, especially the top of the line that I really loved about his speech, he was not telling the story, he was living into that story with full of emotions and full of I would say the energy, the emotions that every word had into his speech. That was wonderful part. And the beautiful part was the way he started with the story of Nazo. Nazo was a story of not a girl, a single girl, but later on he related that we all have such Nazo in our lives. So that was the best part. And later, how he picturized Nazo, he defined that how competent she was, and she wanted to have a study, but she couldn't be able to do that due to different circumstances. But where the twist came, that Arshad came into her life, and later she had to marry to a person who was the age of his father. That was a point where climax came. That is the beauty of any story, when climax came. And when he had a call, his brother had a call, and instantly they went there and they witnessed that how difficult those moments were, not only for Nazo, but for him to see the results that we mostly don't do the same, I would say. Last thing that I really loved about his speech, that he touched such a sensitive topic with the beautiful lines, I would say. And he gave a message that how we can protect such women in our society. However, he can work on, because he is such a, one thing I really loved about him, his energy. He could have opened his hand, because most of the time his hand comes to the middle of the neck, because you have a great energy you can utilize, you can share that energy to the audience. That is something with the open hand, and this is our power hand gesture from this to head. And second, you could have inculcate the humor, because story was so emotional. If you could have inculcate the humor at the start with the nazo, any action that could have better to engage. Otherwise you were great in speech, and only you can work on your hand gesture and the humor. And best of luck for your future speeches.
Thank you so much.